Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing? I hope that you're having a beautiful start of this week and enjoying the day indoors because outside it's raining cats and dogs. Well, at least it is here in Toronto. Thank you so much for joining in today. And I really hope that what we're going to talk about, the topic of the day is informational interviews, is going to help you. And I have a phenomenal surprise for you. Yes, I do. I have a special guest who's going to join me very, very shortly to share her own story and how these steps are helping her in her job search. So let's get started. Informational interviews. I did say to everybody in my previous video that I'll be giving you very specific steps on how to reach out to leaders and what to say. So the first and the most important thing that you need to do is create that intention. What is the purpose of your informational interview? Many cases, it's about an immediate job opening. So if it is about an immediate job opening, remember one thing very clearly. People are extremely busy, and within organizations, not everybody has the authority to share information about the positions that have been posted. So if you are reaching out to somebody within an organization that you've applied, please be honest and let them know that you've applied for a position within their organization under this category, if they would be open to giving 10 to 15 minutes of their time to give you an understanding of the company culture or the projects. Then it's up to them if they are going to be open to having this discussion. However, many a times I say that informational interviews should really be, and it is always about gaining knowledge. So regardless of the fact that you applied for a position within the organization or that you wish to work with that organization, you need to know that this informational interview is about knowledge sharing. So step one, about even before you start this process, is about really knowing where do you see yourself, right? Where do you see yourself at the end of that journey, right? What is your story going to look like? And I'm talking about professional story. So let's say in 3 years' time, you see yourself working for one of the big 4 auditing companies as a business analyst, right? Then you go backward. So first is about your vision, who you are and where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years. And then go back and say, what are the steps that you need to take? Who are the people that you need to engage? Who are the people that have gone through a similar process in order to get where they are? Once you've done that and you've made a list of the companies and list of the people that have gone through that journey, now it's about the questions. What is it that you really need to know from that individual? And be very specific. A lot of times, job seekers and participants get confused about informational interviews. They go on to Google, they go on to different websites and, take open-ended questions from different books and resources and, make a list of questions. And those are the questions they ask. But when you're looking at those questions, ask yourself, is this really what I need to know? Very important. I'll tell you why. Because let's say you've reached out to somebody who's had a similar journey, right? And you're asking a book-related question, a question that perhaps they have already asked when they were going through that journey. They'll know immediately why you're reaching out. right? So authenticity is really, really important when it comes to informational interviews, because informational interview is the first step of building a relationship with a leader that you see yourself as in the next few years. Well, what will Mondays with Meena be without a story from the book of Meena? Yes, the book is not published yet. I know, I know. Certain people are really upset with me about that. But let me talk to you about a specific journey of my own. You see, when I started job searching in the early 2000s, I did not really have a lot of respect for recruiters until I became one. I always thought that the recruiters were very biased and they were judging me, and they were only sending me for positions that were, relevant to my transferable skills, but not really understanding what I wanted to do. Anyways, not having the greatest luck with recruiters, I never thought that I wanted to be one or foresee myself as one until the time when I decided that I needed to get into the employment phase. You see, YMCA was coming to an end. I needed to know which direction to go. And I went to Dale Carnegie's leadership workshop. There I met this absolutely phenomenal recruiter. Her name is Valerie Benson, and she ran an agency called Star Personnel. And we got to know each other. She got to know that I wanted to get into the employment zone, and the focus was nonprofit because, nonprofit is for helping. I didn't feel that recruiters were that helpful. So she asked me a very important question, and that changed my life. She said, why don't you be the change you wish to see? If you didn't have the greatest experience with a recruiter, why wouldn't you take that experience coupled with what we will teach you on how to be a great recruiter and be the kind of recruiter that you wish you had when you were job searching? Ta-da! A light bulb went on, and I thought, yeah, why don't I do that? So I joined Star Personnel. I learned how to be a great recruiter, and I started not by placements, but by skill marketing. And when I said skill marketing, I would meet and interview people that were job searching, either actively or passively, understand their dreams, their aspirations, understand their skills, understand their story, and take that story to organizations that appreciated that kind of talent and reach out directly to the top level, the C-suite level, and share that story. And that's how I started skill marketing, which, of course, once I'd had that experience and I went into my own recruitment agency, I made it my mission to work with the 50 best managed companies in the GTA. And I did. Had I not had that question asked to me, I probably wouldn't have ever considered becoming a recruiter and working and finding organizations that appreciated that kind of talent. So understanding that many recruiters, as they work for an agency, they're there to solve a problem of their client, which is the employers. And in those cases, yes, certain employers have certain expectations and they have to meet them. It's not the recruiter's fault, but it's how you build a relationship with the recruiter that you've met or you've engaged with that can help you build the next level or next step in your career. So recruiters are great. And if you find a good one, build your relationship, because you know that they have more insights into a lot more organizations than you probably could. So 3 steps. First, know your story. Where do you see yourself? Then work backwards on what knowledge do you need to gain? Who are the people that can give you that knowledge? And then reach out to those people and be authentic in your ask. Granted, some people may not respond, for various reasons. Maybe they don't have the time. Maybe they are busy with other things. Maybe they are transitioning in their own career. It could be anything, right? So don't judge them. Just, if you admire somebody, let them know you admire them, and that you would love it if they can give you 15, 20 minutes of their time. But if they don't, it's okay. How do you get time with many people? Find an online community. In the world of COVID, where everything is online, many leaders are out there helping people, right? In different forums. So attend these forums, reach out to them through those forums, comment on what they've said, mention certain things that you've learned from those forums, from what they've said, and start building your relationship this way. Trust me, authenticity is going to help you. And building these relationships is going to get you to where you see yourself. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. So without further ado, let me bring my guest today, Neha Kardell. Neha. Hi,
Hello.
Neha. How are you?
Hi.
I'm good. Thank you. Welcome to the show. This is your second time on the show, so I'm really excited to have you back here. How's everything going with you? Uh-oh. Looks like Neha's having some technical difficulties. Hey, Neha. Okay, let me try bringing her back on. I think we lost Neha for a second. All right. Well, whilst we're waiting for Neha to come back to us, does anybody have any questions? This would be a great time to ask questions or certain challenges that you may be facing when you're reaching out for informational interviews. Great thing is to understand the different industries that you want to be a part of. So as you're thinking about, okay, let's say you want to work in the financial sector, and you're thinking, I want to work for a bank. So when we say I want to work for a bank, usually it's the top 4 or 5 banks that are most visible that we think of, and but we need to also look at the fact that there are many other banks within GTA that you can target. So what are the smaller banks? So as you are focusing in and you're reaching out to larger banks, perhaps create a list of all the small banks as well. Now, if you are from the tech sector and you want to work in the financial sector, it's not only the banks that can help you. You can look at fintechs as well and see what are the organizations that are supporting financial institutions, in different at different levels and different roles. So this is called a Boolean search, where you take one organization. So let's say you want to work for CIBC, right? And you've been applying for CIBC. Great, keep it up. Who are the recruiters that are active in placements with CIBC. Um, Once you go on to CIBC, who are their clients? Who are their competitors? You know, what is the skill set that CIBC is looking for? Hey, I see Neha. So that we don't lose her, let me bring her back on. Hey, Neha.
Oh, this was something different. I with the online stuff, and it was first time I would say, but I had a plan B as well. When I was planning for interviews, I always had this thing in mind: if my Wi-Fi broke down or something happens, what should I do? So I had immediate backup, and and right now I'm on that backup.
That's okay. It's raining heavy outside, so I might lose connection as well. You never know, right? So, Neha, for our audience, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I am Neha Kardile. I'm a project coordinator. I am a certified associate in project management. I work on various industries like IT consulting industry, even healthcare and hospitality industry in last 4 years of my professional career. I have worked on with various project teams, cross-functional teams, and managed to set up project management office. Worked on the project schedules, plans, and I have had a good amount of experience in back home as well as an international experience in Canada. So altogether, I'm looking for positions in IT project management and also in business analyst field.
So, you said you have a lot of experience. Let's hear a little bit about your accomplishments. What was your biggest accomplishment you've seen or you've had in your career?
So basically I worked with a lot of customers and my role was into client facing role. I increased efficiency of our project team by analyzing what kind of what kind of processes we can automate, and then finding those with the RPA tools and also automation tools, and expedite time and run of the project. So that was the need analysis I done on my part. I went on that. I to my immediate managers, project managers, have a discussion over it. So my role was into communication skills, client facing role, and that's a big part of me, which is it's my forte, I would say, that in a project management. So basically, even if I'm an engineering by education, but I have that's immense liking towards project management, business fields. So that's my skills kit also came from that background, and also I worked on those part. I work in the industry to upskill myself.
So, Neha, our topic for the day is informational interviews. And I know that you had shared that you have 70% success when you reach out to individuals. And I think the primary platform that you're using is LinkedIn. So, why don't you share with our audience today what are some of the steps that you take in order to reach out to professionals? How do you choose those professionals? Perhaps share an example with us.
Sure. So when I wanted to go or even ask for this kind of a consulting, or just go and ask for advice, I make sure that my LinkedIn profile is well together. It's good. I have written those articles. If you can go on my LinkedIn profile, you would see a lot of articles I have written, a lot of posts I have written in the same industry, in project management, in business analysis, in IT, and what I have worked on. So with my experience. So when I went to ask for any advice, they used to look at my profile, and then the lot of comments used to say, oh, you have worked pretty good on your profile. So that kind of I would not say that's a response. That's a good. Those response you should always get, but make sure that you have your tools ready. You have your LinkedIn profile ready. You have that smiling face on your LinkedIn profile. So that's what you need for initial steps, I would say.
So great. So having your LinkedIn profile optimized. So how would you select somebody?
Yes, and I did a lot of research on that part. What kind of roles I want to take in, what kind of industry I'm looking into, what are the people who are working in those industry in Toronto, or even in if I want to relocate. Even I preferably set those measures, set those filters on my profile, on my search, and say if I want to go for example, I did reach out to one individual at Deloitte Consulting. So his name is Vipul, and he was very fortunate enough to give me his time, his advice throughout the process, what he did work on, what was the challenges he faced, and how should I take up those and work towards my end goal. And while I was looking into his profile, so he basically, I am from Mumbai, India. So he was from Mumbai, India. So that was a personalized connection. I could, okay, I did not start with I want a job in Deloitte. It's not a right way to start. It's just finding the authentic or making an organic connection altogether, and then look for those individuals who have the similar interest or similar backgrounds. They are following the same industry you are into. They are following the same kind of individuals you are looking forward to talk to. So that's kind of a back work I did.
Awesome. So how did your interaction with Whipple help you?
Yes, so when we started, he gave me an overview of how to give an interviews in this big consulting firms, because Deloitte is a big four, and I had that question: how did you prepare for your interview? What did you do better? How did you outperform? So it was a very so his interview was, it's a funny story. He had an interview in the Starbucks cafe. It was the first interview which happened, and then that he could make those uh, impression to the hiring manager that they invited him for the final interviews. So while he was also building up the network, while he was also building up the kind of a network I wanted to build in, he also approached his hiring manager through LinkedIn, through some individuals, through networks, and that's what led him to get an interview, get a foot in door of Deloitte. So it was a very finding out those individuals, finding out what your passion is. As he was into IT consulting firm before, and even I was into IT consulting firm before. So find those key points, and then make your impression and make you stand out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Neha. I think we have a question over here. It says, how can you be successful in taking informational sessions for a job posting? Could you please share your insight on it? So, not sure I follow this question, but what I think that this person is asking is how to do an informational interview based on a job posting. Um, well, if you see a job posting, right? And Neha, you've had that experience as well, right? When you see a job posting and you've applied for the position, do you actually reach out to somebody within that organization before you apply? Or do you apply and then reach out? What has your experience been?
Yeah, so there are this had a situation particular situation had happened to me, and there are possible two answers for that. One time I did apply on my front, and I went and I asked that individual to give me a reference. But what happened during that time was, he asked me for not to apply before, because they have some certain referral link or link from which you can apply through. So don't make the hash decision, because I already applied and I could not apply. It was double application would not the recruiter won't notice that. So that had happened to me before. But I would not say directly go and just ask for a referral. Find out some, start your connection, or start kind of a conversation. Oh, this is kind of roles I'm looking into. What are you, what is your story? I always say that, go. I'm a project coordinator. I came in Canada when I was working in India. I was working happily, but then I wanted to do something to enhance my profile, enhance my career, and that's why. So there will be a story behind all of us as an individual. So start with that story, make those connection, and then ask for a referral. They will maybe they will trust you better, or they will trust you more, I would say.
Yes, I 100% agree with what Neha is saying. So if you see a position that you're interested in, the first step is to see if you have a connection working within that organization, right? If you do have a connection working within that organization and that connection is close to you, definitely reach out. Let them know that there is a position that you're interested in applying. Would they be kind enough to refer you? If you don't have a connection within that company, see if there is anybody that is mutually connected within that organization that you have a good relationship with, and reach out to that connection. So that would be a second connection for you. However, if it so happens that there is a position that is posted and there are no relevant connections, you don't want to wait to apply for, because when you reach out to a complete stranger whom you've had probably one interaction with, if at all, and say, hey, I noticed that you have a position within your company, would you refer me? Well, depending on how well they know you, they may or may not be comfortable referring you. So understand if it is a connection that can provide you with a referral. Now, sometimes what happens, if it's a unionized position, if it's, within a college, university, or a unionized nonprofit, or any unionized organization, the employees or the hiring manager are strictly forbidden to give you more information about that particular role. So they may share the position with you, they may give you a few tips, but at the end of the day, you still have to apply through the online process. So understand the company structure and then make that wise decision. Sometimes it's good to wait. Sometimes it's not so good to wait. So make that decision and move forward. For example, you see a position, as I said, where I work part-time at Humber College. I am a part-time professor. I absolutely adore my job. I absolutely love my job. And guess what? I refer a lot of people to work at Humber College. Why? Because I love Humber. I see that they have great team. They do a lot for their employees. They hire thousands of people, right? At all the positions at Humber College or within the academic institutions are unionized positions. So they are posted online. So when the hiring is really happening, everybody needs to apply online. However, let's say we have a semester starting next week. And, the faculty that was supposed to teach a particular course has decided not to come back. Now there is a position that needs to be filled immediately. At this time, the program coordinator will go through all of the applications that have been submitted online, but also look at who are the people that have connected with them over the past few weeks, few months to teach that particular course. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's just easy to put in the keyword on LinkedIn, look at who's a common connection and reach out and hire somebody. So you never know where the hiring process is for the position that you're applying, right? So it's really, really important that not only you build those relationships in advance, but also keep building those relationships as you move forward. And as Neha said, sometimes those relationships will be able to help you immediately. Sometimes it may take some time, right? So don't be in a rush. Be intentional when you're making these connections. And always, please, always express your gratitude. Somebody's taken out the time to give you feedback, to give you their guidance, then please take that time to appreciate them, to thank them. And I've said that works in two ways. When you appreciate somebody publicly on a public platform similar to LinkedIn, you're helping them also to build their career. So selfishly, hey, you're getting the LinkedIn visibility, you're getting acknowledged by not just that individual, but also people in their network and in their organization, but you're also helping them build their career. So this way, they're going to be able to help you further because you just appreciated their time. If you've reached out to somebody and said, can you please look at my resume and give me some feedback? They take half an hour, 45 minutes to review your resume, give you feedback, a simple thank you, and then you're gone. And you never turn around and, appreciate their effort. That's not really called relationship building. And the next time you reach out to them is when you need them again. That's not called relationship building. So as I said, find a community. A community is there to help you, but you also have to help them grow that community. So Neha, you're a part of the Destination CEO community. How has that helped you with where you're at right now?
Yes, absolutely. Because there are a lot of people, there are a lot of mentors, and they have been guiding me throughout the journey itself. I At one point I didn't know how to go with this problem or situation. I used to ask my mentor Biju Mishra. He used to guide me with very simple process, with very simple thought process behind everything. So if it's not in any control, what you gonna do? You have to just follow the process, you have to just keep applying. And that's kind of motivation I got through Destination CEO, and I'm very um, grateful for that. Even as a matter of fact, Meena, I used to call her, okay, this is not happening, this is not happening, or how should I go about this? Some individual are they are asking me to do this. And that's kind of key advices I got through the program or Destination CEO. My net on my network was very essential throughout my job process. And it's I also want to add one thing. When we are making up any relationship, even if you get a job, it's you should not forget that people who have helped you. Because even after you get one job, you always look for career enhancement. If you're working for this company for 5 years and you want to move to another company or move to another maybe domain, so always keep in contact with those people who have helped you throughout your journey. It's never, as I always believe in, you should always have that group of people behind you, just a guard with you, and you are on to conquer your word, or you can in your process, in your life process, I would say.
Thank you, Neha. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for your testimony for Destination CEO and our wonderful mentors. So, to recap, informational interviews. Make that about knowledge. Step one, visualize your story. Where do you see yourself in 2 to 3 years from today? Then work backwards. What do you need to do in order to be where you see yourself? Three, who are the people who have gone through that journey and whose shoes you want to be in 3 years? And that, as simple as that, reach out to them, connect with them, share your story, be authentic, ask structured questions. When you do something like this, you are building lifelong relationships. I have been through many jobs in my GTA journey. And I can tell you one thing, that each and every job has taught me a lot, because it's not the job, it's the people that were in those jobs that have guided me, that have mentored me, and whom I still have those relationships with. I know that I can always reach out to any one of them and ask them for guidance and talk to them, and they're never going to refuse. Why? Because I made it my I made it my objective to keep those relationships and to build those relationships. And I'm really grateful for each and every relationship that I've built. So I hope that is going to be your journey too. If you have any specific questions that you've not had the opportunity to ask today, please feel free to direct message me, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Neha, any final words to your audience? What is your career goal? You are in your job search process. What is your call to action? What position are you looking for? What kind of company are you looking for?
Yes, I am into IT project management field from last 3 years. I am looking into same project positions as a project coordinator, project control officers, and that's uh, that's what I'm looking into. And I am into my very final steps of my some of companies I have interviewed for in last a couple of weeks. I will happy to share good news with you all soon, and that's what I'm looking forward.
And what's the final words you want to tell everybody that is watching the show?
Watch this and work according to what has been discussed here. Just don't watch it. Make sure that you are following all the processes. Make sure that what you have taken from this show, and make those into your practice. Just that's what. Just watching it and making an action will help you for sure, because it has helped a lot of people, thousands of people in destinations here who are there in the journey.
Thank you, Neha. And thank you to everybody that signed in, that's watching the show right now, or is watching the recording of the show. Please feel free to share this video with anybody that you feel may be interested in learning these few steps, right? Well, this is Meena Dawani from Destination CEO, wishing you all a beautiful start to this wonderful week. Thank you very much, and have a great day.